On camera with Ksenija and the accordion. I'm Ksenija Sidorova and I'm a classical accordionist. This is the classical accordion, and many wonder what makes it a classical one. The usual accordion type sounds like this, like a good old polka. But in the 1960s, a little switch has been made in the left-hand side, which by pressing it, it becomes a fully polyphonic instrument and sort of has a similar keyboard in the left hand. So now we have a lot more variety in octaves, and it also could be compared to like an organ with two manuals. Therefore, nowadays you can play pieces like and so on, where two hands are equally important and play the tune. Since then, a lot of composers got excited to write for the classical accordion, which also has a lot of registers that give you color. For example, and these buttons make that color and change the timbre, and you can press them with your fingers, with your chin, and even with your wrist. I often compare the accordion to a string instrument, although it's considered to be a keyboard instrument with an element of wind in it. And why I like to compare it to strings is because the bellows, they act like a bow. So you can see it as an up bow and down bow by whether you push bellows out or pull them in. So in order to create a sound, you have to press the button and pull the bellows out, or pull them in. And therefore, with the pressure and the valve opening, the sound creates. Many people wonder how difficult it is to play an accordion, and I always say it's not more difficult than playing a piano or a violin. In fact, each of these instruments have their own difficulties. Our main is perhaps the left hand, which you never get to see unless you put a mirror in front of you. But best not to do that, and you learn it by touch. So you really remember everything. It's a muscle memory, all the jumps that you are doing, and it becomes very natural. Accordion is full of different sounds and different colors of the sounds, which you can achieve by pressing, either playing in different octave or pressing registers, which are similar to the stops on the organ. So you have the piccolo register, which will sound super high at the top, for example, like a bell, or you can have it really low also in the right side, and makes all sorts of unusual sounds. And you can even make a glissando by going only downwards and then coming back up to the tone that you started from. So, and of course you can also have all sorts of clicking noises, which very often get used in contemporary music. And you can even beat the box, creating the rhythm. And so on. It's a one-man band. Not one of my favorite subjects to talk about, but one of the challenges playing the accordion, aside of the fact that it's really, there's a lot of moving parts to it, is that it's quite heavy. It's about 3.5 stone, and to transport it you need to be quite strong, and to warm up you also probably need to do some sports before. Otherwise I like to warm up with simple exercises like something like this. And so on. That helps me get the fingers kind of warm and ready to start. One of my favorite pieces to perform on the accordion is Astor Piazzolla's Aconcagua Concerto. It's fun when you have to do it with an orchestra, but here is an extract for you from the cadenza. Many people ask me if it's at all possible to tune the accordion. And in fact, when I play chamber music with wonderful instrumentalists who have Stradivarius and instruments that really need you to stay at the same sound level, of course you need to look after the accordion. And it takes about a few days to actually tune it. It all comes apart and gets polished inside out and of course tuned by really scrubbing off the parts of the metal inside to really sharpen or flatten the sound, depending on what you need to get. But it's a very complex procedure, and I get it done about once a year. Accordion was patented in 1800s, and it used to be used as an accompanist for the songs. The right hand would be holding the left side, because this was the only thing that existed, and it would be playing the accompaniment for songs. You can still do that with two hands and still accompany yourself or your friends. And nowadays I tend to entertain my kids with stuff like this. It makes me laugh. I love the classical accordion so much that, of course, I do work a lot with kids and go into schools showing this instrument as an advertisement to it, and I really believe in it. I think that they exist in smaller versions. So, of course, as a kid, you can pick up the accordion and start playing yourself. It's a super friendly instrument that immediately creates a sound, so you can play small tunes quite early on.